Stack you hard, fool.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, family. It's your man Juan J. Johnson coming at you live on this 5th day of May of 2024. Looking forward to having a great program. Um, if you need firearms training, go to lwftraining.com. That's lwftraining.com. Uh, it's been a minute since I've been live on my station. Well, I was live the other day on another platform talking about cosplay and the consequences of cosplay. And there's no consequences. Uh, but with that said, I'm here tonight. We're going to talk about God, guns, and the First Amendment. I will not be here long, but we're going to have the discussion about God, guns, and the First Amendment. Why is that important? Because I'm seeing every day, family, that the First Amendment rights that we so cherish is being eroded. Our rights are being eroded. And I'm not seeing those who we call leaders, whether they be in the church, whether they be civil rights leaders, whether they be the businessmen, the entrepreneurs, those who we hold in high esteem. I'm not seeing them saying nothing. I shouldn't be surprised at the ministers not saying nothing, because if they remain quiet on Resurrection Sunday, when our president decided to make the most holiest sacred day in the Christian community the followers of Jesus. He made it a transgender day. Then why am I surprised that there's quietness, there's silence with our First Amendment rights being shredded right in front of our faces, family? I've never seen the silence that we're seeing today. Let me make sure I'm broadcasting on all these platforms, because these people have found a way to limit my reach or my access to you, the individuals, the subscribers, the followers on these platforms. So with that said, let me deal with this First Amendment and the importance of the First Amendment. As you see, I took liberties to type the First Amendment right there on your screen. It says, the First Amendment provides that Congress make no law prohibiting the free exercise of religion. It protects freedom of speech It protects the freedom of the press. It protects your right to assemble and the right to petition the government for redresses or grievances, family. I take all this Bill of Rights or the amendments very, very serious. You know why? I take it serious because there was a moment in the history of America, right, where my ancestors could not practice the First Amendment. Say this again. The only group of people in America, okay, when the First Amendment was written, all right, let's deal with the time it was written. When was the First Amendment written, family? December 15th, 1791. December 15th, 1791. Okay? December 17th, December 17th, December 15th, 1791, family. Guess whose ancestors was in slavery? Guess. Black Americans. And guess when they was able to fully embrace this one amendment? Just guess. Huh? You know when? Do you know when? It was 1868, family. So from 1791, correction, from 1791 to 1868, that was 77 years. Okay? Where we were unable to practice this First Amendment, freedom of speech. Black people couldn't come up their mouths and say anything they wanted in the 1700s, 1800s. They couldn't exercise the freedom of religion. They really couldn't exercise the freedom of the press. Have you ever read David Walker's appeal? A first-hand account? Because he was the press back then. David Walker's appeal inspired Nat Turner's revolt and quite a few revolts. Black Americans wasn't able to petition the government. Okay? Now, I know we say this. We did have legislators in those houses of Congress and the Senate that everybody wasn't in the field. Right. So let's just say this. There was limited practicing of the First Amendment because we knew, or our ancestors knew, act like you wanted to say something. You say something out your mouth wrong, okay, to any of our white brothers and sisters, their children, and you'd be lynched. You'd be hung. You'd be pulled out the house. You'd be whipped. And for that religion piece, let's not get it twisted. I used to promote this book some years ago. I'm going to pull it right now because I need you to look at this book right here. This book. It should be required reading. Should be required reading. The American Slave Code in theory and in practice. Why is this book important, family? This book is important because America did what no other country in the world did with Black Americans. And they codified the law. They codified slavery into their law where everybody was on the same page. I said the American Slave Code in theory and in practice by Robert Goodell. Okay? There was no true practicing of the First Amendment for Black Americans. Okay? This is why I have this broadcast on today. Why? Because I am the recipient of the sacrifices of those ancestors who have blood in the soil that fought that I can be able to embrace the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is important to me, family. And it should be important to you. Because in this world that we live in, America is probably one of the few nations, if not the only nation in this world that practice freedom of speech for the citizens, that we're not getting locked up for practicing freedom of speech. Or are we getting locked up? What do you mean? I'm looking at the climate, looking at the chain of events that's taking place in our nation, the protests that's taking place from Maine to California. The First Amendment protects against protesting, the right to assemble. You can assemble. That's protesting. Okay? I saw a video that was very disturbing. And it came out of New York City Police Department. And forgive me for not being able to play that video on tonight. But I saw the chief of police and his command staff. Okay. I saw them planning on entering the dorms of those who are protesting and going to locate the protesters who taken over the dorms. And they was actually, I mean, you would think they was you would think they were strategizing to take down some terrorists. But no, they were strategizing to take down those who are exercising freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, okay? Freedom of the press. Family, our rights are being eroded right before your very eyes. They're being eroded. And the sad irony about this whole situation is this. Those who we've entrusted to listen to who we've entrusted to lead, they are the most quietest. They are the most silent. Let me go on record right now and say that the ministers of old, the ministers, okay, let me say this now. Let me preface this. Some of them, they can't be trusted. Your civil rights leaders, they can't be trusted. These organizations that we put a lot of stock in,
for decades. Your urban leagues, your national action networks, your NAACPs, your Congressional Black Congress, your Rainbow Push Coalition. They can't be trusted. They can't. Why is the silence deafening from these organizations, from these alleged leaders? Why are they sitting back letting forces and powers that be take away our First Amendment? They can't be trusted. They can't be trusted, family. If your pastors, if your imams, if your leaders, your civil rights leaders, your educators, your entrepreneurs, your businessmen, those who you believe that have some type of, let me say this thing right, charge on their lives to give directions and instructions, if they can't speak on the erosion and the attack on our First Amendment, you need to leave these people alone. You need to stop listening to them. If all they have to say is what they've been saying for decades, which is nothing, and cannot see that the First Amendment is being shredded right before our very eyes, we can't trust them. We can't trust them. I mean, I think about the laws, the people who are being protected in their groups and their um, and nobody is offering no type of protection for Black Americans. Nobody. Nobody. Family, I don't know if you know just how important the First Amendment is, but the First Amendment is very important. Let me say this again. The First Amendment is very important. The First Amendment guarantees that Congress can make no law prohibiting the free exercise of religion, meaning whatever religion you practice, whatever religion that you subscribe to, that Congress cannot prohibit you from practicing it. They can't enact no laws that prohibits the free exercise of religion. Okay? Even if you don't like a certain church, a certain organization, a certain religious uh, institution, that's where the First Amendment is in place right now. It protects that. Okay? Freedom of speech. We can have this conversation right now, like this today, because of the First Amendment. Do you know there's other countries out here that you can't practice freedom of speech? That you would get locked up for speaking your mind? That you may even get killed for protesting? But in this nation, we have freedom of speech. We have freedom of the press, family. Not just the press, your traditional venues. We're talking about even your social media venues, and they are coming under attack with censorship. They're censoring. TikTok is a prime example of a violation of the First Amendment. Okay? It'll be TikTok today. It'll be Social X tomorrow. It'll be Instagram the next day. It'll be Facebook the next day. They won't stop until all of the press, all of the outlets where we're getting the information from, they're not going to stop until it's all gone. Okay? I need you to put some respect on the First Amendment. I need you to put some respect on the First Amendment. And I need you to summon the courage to speak up and speak out when you see your First Amendment's rights are being violated. Say this again. I need you to summon the courage and the boldness to respond when your First Amendment rights are being taken away from you. Okay? Watch this. Let me give you another scripture. Let me just give you a scripture. Something else. You know, Galatians 5:1 says this, and I'm giving you a scripture because I've already told you that I'm a follower of the revolutionary Jesus the Christ. I'm not on board with that one y'all been preaching about for decades who did nothing for us and continues to do nothing. Okay? Galatians 5:1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. We are free, family. Free, freedom, liberty. I don't know what that means to you, but it means a whole lot to me. To be free, to be able to practice what? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and the freedom to petition our government for redresses and the grievances. That's important, family. That's important. I need you to summon the courage. I need you to summon the courage and protect your First Amendment rights. Our politicians are being, some of them are responsible for the erosion of our amendments. I need you to be serious about protecting your rights as citizens of this country, of this nation. The First Amendment, family, it is not a suggestion. The First Amendment is not a suggestion. Okay? Be very clear. The First Amendment, family, has been around since December 15th, 1791. Okay? It's that Bill of Rights, family, that the founders wrote and agreed that we should be able to practice and have these rights, that all men are created equal. Okay? Now, again, like I said, that was not always the case for Black Americans. But now we practice it. We embrace it, all of it. So I need you to put some respect on the First Amendment. Again, I need you to put some respect on the First Amendment. I need you to put respect on freedom of what? Religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and the right to petition this government for grievances. Don't let these people take our First Amendment from us, because they're doing everything they can to take it from us, family. Okay? So look, I'm going to leave it right there. They want to come before you long. But if you want to become a responsible gun owner, gun user, I need you to go to lwftraining.com. That's lwftraining.com. Okay? Go to lwftraining.com or go to any reliable, responsible firearms company, whatever state you're in, whatever county you're in, whatever city you're in. I need you all to become responsible gun owners and gun users if you're not prohibited. If you meet the qualifications, I need you to be that serious. Okay? It's just that serious, family. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. You can be anywhere, but you're here tonight. But I want you to also, while you're tuning in, do not neglect your First Amendment. Don't neglect your First Amendment. It's just that serious. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in. As I always do before I leave this broadcast, I pray for your health. I'm praying for your happiness. I'm praying for your love. I'm praying for your success. I want you to be prosperous in everything you do. I pray for your resources. And I also want you to have unlimited money for your next assignment. You're going to need that. You're going to need health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, resources, and unlimited money. That is my prayer for your family. And I always remember this. It is not how much you know. It's how much you care. We got a lot of people out here who know a whole lot. We got a lot of educators, we got a lot of educated people with no souls. Say this again. We have a lot of educated people out here with no soul, or better yet, some soulless educators. People who don't care about you. They know a whole lot. They got plaques, they got certificates, they got diplomas, and they are literally soulless. Don't care about your rights, don't care about nothing. I'm the opposite. I want nothing but the best for you. And I want you to have unlimited money. And I want you to have the resources for your next assignment. Okay? That's what I want for you. For everybody. So with that said again, I'm bringing it in. I always remember this, family. There is a lone wolf in you. Why is that important? Because a lone wolf can function without the pack. A lone wolf doesn't need the pack. Yes, he can function with the pack, but if he's ever disconnected from the pack, he still can survive. And that's you. If you're listening to this broadcast, you are a lone wolf. Stop waiting for somebody else to do what you can do. You have all the resources. You have the courage, the confidence. You do it. Don't wait. We're in some very deadly, dangerous times. And you can no longer afford to wait for somebody to do what you know what needs to be done. Okay? So you do it. With that said, I'm out of here. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your day. Have a great weekday or weekend. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video. Subscribe to the channel, share, and like this video. Okay? And with that said, I'm out of here. I see you back this week. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your evening. Along with the Lord of the Wolves. He's out of here. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.